This video is going to be like a super wacky visit to Alice in Wonderland with the White Rabbit as a guide. Once again, I'm going to try to explain a huge elephant problem in music that most teachers seem to avoid. This particular elephant in the room is one that I call insane musical math, and that is a huge problem for many beginning musicians and especially for adults. The problem with insane musical math can be shown from one simple example. When we play C and D, that is a second. When we play D and E, that is another second. But when we put those 2 seconds together to play C and E, we get a third. And yet this insane musical math tells us that 2 plus 2 equals 3. And we all know this is pure nonsense. So how did this totally illogical system get started? That is the pink elephant in the room. Thus, our visit to Wonderland. If you are standing in place and someone tells you to take 3 steps forward, you are not going to count where you are standing as step number 1. Yet this is exactly what we do in music. We use a starting letter and call that letter number 1. So when we go up C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, what we call an octave, we really only go up 7 letters. But we number that second C as letter 8 because of our starting letter. That first C has already been named letter number 1, and believe me, that's one huge freaking elephant. Let's consider our interval system with a picture of a bogus ruler. In the picture I'm showing you, the beginning C of this ruler is marked 1. When you go up C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, the next C is marked as the 8th letter, and that's where the term octave comes from. Well, octave obviously means 8, similar to an octagon and an octopus, but the difference is really 7, isn't it? Now let's consider our interval system as if it is a standard ruler that starts with 0. When we write C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, we can now clearly see something different. In this picture, that second C is up 7 letters and not 8 letters. So this ordinary ruler is showing a better system, but it is too late to change an irrational system that people have been using for many centuries. We have become a slave to tradition. We are letting peer pressure from dead people continue to ruin our lives. Experienced musicians simply know this strange old system. They just don't think about it, and this is certainly true for me. But beginners always ask me why things are so illogical, and I have to try to explain about this elephant in the room. Let's examine some concrete examples. When we have a fourth and add a 5th to it, we get an octave. But quite obviously, we are saying that 4 plus 5 equals 8, which clearly is not right. When we add a 3rd and a 6th together, we get an octave. But saying that 3 and 6 equals 8 is again 100% wrong. A 2nd plus a 7th equals an octave. But 2 plus 7 equals 8 is again clearly a false statement. It gets worse. If we stack 3 thirds into a chord, we get a 7th. And that says that 3 times 3 equals 7. We have gone from strange to insane. Can it get even wackier? Yes, it can. If we start on C and go up 7 steps, with C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, we arrive on the next C, which is an octave. But that says that 7 times 2 equals 8. And without doubt, this is totally beyond insane. I noticed this insane musical math as a young student. It was because of octave signs. When you tell somebody to play up an octave, it is marked with 8VA, and that is the abbreviation for ottava, which is simply the Italian name for octave. But what happens when something is marked up 2 octaves? Now the marking is 15MA, and that is short for the Italian name quindicesima. That long word is simply the Italian name for 15th, meaning up 15. But if an octave is 8, I thought the 2 octaves should be 16. And that is when I started thinking about insane musical math. That was the first time I noticed the elephant in the room. That is the first time I realized that when we start examining insane musical math, we are in a tea party with the Mad Hatter. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Leave me comments about anything you like, comments about anything you would like to see in the future, and remember that I consider all suggestions and questions.